The call to remember origins and symbols of Sukkot. Sukkot is a very special time. It is known as the Feast of Tabernacles. It is a joyful festival commanded by God in the Torah. We find its origins in the book of Leviticus, specifically in chapter 23. This important festival occurs in the autumn season each year. It is a period of great celebration and deep thanksgiving. We thank God for all his wonderful blessings. Families and communities gather together. They observe the cherished customs of Sukkot. The main part of the festival lasts for 7 days. There is also an additional 8th day of sacred assembly, Shemini Atzeret. Sukkot is a profound time to reflect on God's enduring faithfulness. This faithfulness has been shown throughout history and in our own lives. A unique aspect of Sukkot is its celebration in temporary structures. These special dwellings are called sukkahs, or booths. This ancient practice directly commemorates the journey of the Israelites. They wandered for 40 long years in the vast and often harsh wilderness. This incredible journey took place after their miraculous exodus from slavery in Egypt. During those many years, they did not have permanent homes to live in. Instead, they lived in simple, temporary shelters provided by God's grace. God commanded his people to dwell in these booths for 7 days each year. This was so that all future generations would remember this significant period. They would remember how God sustained them in the desert. The sukkahs themselves are constructed with a spirit of simplicity and creativity. People build these temporary homes outdoors. They are often found in gardens, on patios, or on balconies. The walls of the sukkah can be made from various materials. However, the roof, which is known as CHAG, has specific requirements. It must be made from natural materials that grew from the ground. This includes things like branches, bamboo poles, or leaves. The CHAG should also be sparse enough. It should allow those inside to glimpse the stars at night. This feature reminds the dwellers of God's magnificent creation. It also reminds them of their dependence on him for everything. Families often take great joy in decorating their sukkahs. They use fruits, pictures, and colorful hangings to make them beautiful and welcoming. Living in these temporary dwellings for a full week carries very deep meaning. It powerfully symbolizes the transient nature of our earthly lives. Our sturdy homes, our valued possessions, and even our physical bodies are not permanent. They are all subject to change and will not last forever. The experience of the sukkah encourages profound spiritual reflection. It gently prompts us to consider what truly endures beyond the material world. It is a powerful reminder to be deeply grateful. We should be grateful for God's constant protection and his unfailing provision in our lives. This physical act of dwelling in a fragile booth helps us to internalize the essential message of impermanence. It also helps us appreciate the security that comes from God. Echoes of the wilderness divine sustenance and enduring faith. The Israelites' journey through the wilderness was a truly defining period for them. It was a challenging time of testing their faith. It was also a time of learning complete reliance on God. For 40 long years they navigated a barren and unforgiving landscape. This desert was vast and offered little natural sustenance. They faced the constant threats of hunger and thirst. They also lived with great uncertainty about their future destination. This journey was far more than just a physical passage from one place to another. It was a profound spiritual crucible. It was instrumental in forging their unique identity as God's chosen people. They learned firsthand about their own human vulnerability. More importantly, they learned about God's unwavering presence that was always with them. Throughout this arduous and lengthy trek, God miraculously provided for his people. He showed his care in many extraordinary ways. He sent manna from heaven. This was a special bread-like food that appeared each morning, except on the Sabbath. He provided fresh water from a rock when they were desperately thirsty in the dry desert. A pillar of cloud guided them by day. This cloud also offered them welcome shade from the scorching desert sun. At night, a pillar of fire illuminated their path. This fire also provided warmth and a visible sign of God's presence. These continuous miracles were constant reminders of his loving care. They clearly demonstrated that he was their ultimate sustainer and their ever-present protector. Their very survival in the wilderness depended entirely on his grace and intervention. The sukkah, built and inhabited each year, serves as an annual, tangible reminder. It reminds us of this incredible divine providence. When we sit inside the sukkah, we are encouraged to remember God's faithfulness. We recall how he lovingly sustained the entire nation of Israel in the desert. This act of remembrance encourages us to cultivate trust in his provision in our own lives today. Life can present its own wilderness experiences. We may face difficult challenges, periods of uncertainty, or times of need. The Sukkah, in its simplicity, teaches us a vital lesson. It teaches that God is always with us, just as He was with the Israelites. He will provide for our fundamental needs. He will guide us through difficult times. The wilderness experience was absolutely crucial in shaping the Israelite nation. It taught them essential lessons of faith, obedience, and complete reliance on God. These were not easy lessons, but they were vital for their spiritual development. These lessons were not meant to be forgotten with the passage of time. The observance of Sukkot ensures that each new generation remembers God's mighty acts of salvation. It ensures they remember His sustaining power. It encourages us in our contemporary lives to cultivate a similar depth of trust. It prompts us to consciously recognize and sincerely appreciate God's abundant blessings. These blessings are present in our daily lives. Often they are found in ways we might overlook if we are not mindful. Sukkot calls us to awareness and gratitude. Abraham's tent, a legacy of spiritual wealth. The concept of dwelling in temporary structures finds another profound and inspiring example. We see this in the life of Abraham, our forefather. Abraham is revered as a foundational figure of faith across many traditions. He is often called the father of monotheism, believing in one God. God called Abraham to leave his homeland, Ur of the Chaldees. He was to journey to an unknown land that God would show him. God made a sacred covenant with Abraham. He promised him that he would become the father of numerous descendants. He also promised him the land of Canaan as an inheritance. Abraham's life became a testament to obedience. He showed unwavering trust in God's promises, even when they seemed impossible. He followed God's call without hesitation, setting an example for all time. Despite possessing considerable wealth, including much livestock and many servants, Abraham chose a nomadic lifestyle. He lived in tents throughout his long life. This was true even when he dwelled in the very land that God had promised to him. The book of Hebrews in the New Testament specifically highlights this remarkable choice. It states, "By faith he made his home in the promised land like a stranger in a foreign country. He lived in tents, as did Isaac and Jacob, who were heirs with him of the same promise." This was not a decision born out of necessity or poverty. It was a conscious choice that reflected his deepest convictions and his understanding of life's true purpose. His wealth did not tie him to a settled, materialistic existence. Abraham's deliberate decision to live in tents reveals his profound spiritual priorities. He did not place his ultimate hope or security in earthly possessions. He did not seek permanence in grand physical structures. His focus was consistently directed towards a future, eternal inheritance promised by God. The scriptures tell us something very significant about his perspective. He was looking forward to the city with foundations, whose architect and builder is God. He understood the ephemeral or temporary nature of worldly things. He knew that true security and lasting permanence were found only in God. They were found in His divine kingdom, not in the shifting sands of earthly existence. His tent was a powerful symbol of his pilgrim status on earth. Abraham's distinctive lifestyle offers a powerful and timeless lesson for all generations. It teaches us that material wealth, while useful, is not the ultimate measure of a successful or meaningful life. Abraham valued his intimate relationship with God far above all else. He understood that spiritual riches such as faith, wisdom, and righteousness far outweigh any earthly treasure. His example encourages us to pause and examine our own values. What are we truly striving for? Are we more focused on accumulating material things and worldly status? Or are we investing in our spiritual well-being, our character, and our relationship with the divine? Abraham's life was a clear demonstration of profound trust in God's unseen realities and eternal promises. Embracing impermanence, the path to true spiritual growth. The beautiful festival of Sukkot, with its central symbol of the temporary sukkah, powerfully underscores life's inherent impermanence. At the end of the 7 joyous days of celebration, the sukkah is dismantled. Its lovely decorations, fruits, and branches are carefully put away until the following year. This annual act of building and then taking down the sukkah serves as a potent and practical reminder. It clearly shows that our material possessions and our earthly homes, no matter how solid they seem, are not forever. Even the grandest human-made structures and empires eventually fade into history. This realization, however, is not meant to be a source of sadness or despair. Instead, it can be quite liberating. It guides us to focus on what truly lasts beyond the physical realm. It encourages us to hold lightly to the things of this world. This deep understanding of impermanence should prompt sincere and thoughtful reflection on our own lives. We should ask ourselves, what are our primary pursuits and most cherished ambitions? Are we dedicating the majority of our precious time and energy to acquiring material wealth and status? Or are we consciously cultivating our spiritual selves, seeking wisdom and connection? The wise King Solomon, renowned for his great wisdom and wealth, reflected deeply on worldly pursuits. In the book of Ecclesiastes, he described many of them as vanity or meaningless if they become our sole focus, detached from God. He came to realize that true and lasting fulfillment comes from a much deeper spiritual source. This ancient perspective helps us to reevaluate our modern priorities. The profound wisdom embedded in Sukkot urges us to align our daily actions with enduring spiritual values. This involves consciously prioritizing qualities such as faith, love, compassion, justice, and integrity. It means actively nurturing our relationships with God, with our families, and with our communities. It encourages us to consistently seek spiritual growth, deeper understanding, and a closer walk with the divine. This emphasis on spiritual matters does not mean neglecting our worldly responsibilities or embracing laziness. The Torah itself teaches the inherent value and dignity of work. Deuteronomy 16:15 clearly states that God will bless all your increase and in all the works of your hands. Diligence and responsible stewardship are valued, but our ultimate hope should not rest solely in the fruits of our labor. Ultimately, Sukkot is a joyful and uplifting invitation from God. It invites us to place our trust in His unwavering provision and His constant care. It calls us to focus our attention and our efforts on what holds eternal significance. It encourages us to build our lives on a strong and unshakable foundation of faith. We are called to pursue spiritual growth with intention, with passion, and with dedication. By embracing the timeless lessons of the Sukkah, and by reflecting on the inspiring example of Abraham, we can discover true meaning in our lives. We can find a lasting joy that transcends the temporary nature of the material world. This profound joy is securely rooted in our connection to the eternal, our Creator and Sustainer.